Power's out, it's 20 degrees outside, you don't have a generator. Here's some ideas on how to keep your family warm without spending a ton of money, but also using common sense to make sure that you're safe. In 2009 in Kentucky, we lost power for about 6 days. I had a kerosene heater that was a double burn that I had had for a few years. I actually had two of them. One was an older model, one was the newer double burn. We lost all our power and everything, and it was cold. It was less than 20 degrees outside. My number one go-to was my kerosene heater. So I was able to bring that inside in my house. One of the things I did, I had a piece of scrap 3/4 inch plywood. I set it down on the floor. I put that heater on there and I had it going. Since then, I have a brand new one that I bought from Lowe's a couple years ago. I paid $88 for it at the end of the year. That's my backup, but I didn't spend a ton of money on it, and I have it there just in case. I found this little one that was on Amazon, and we're going to link that one here too. That one there is a small heater. I've used it in my garage. It's adjustable. It goes up. It's small kerosene heater, same way. It has a top on there that you can cook off of. So you can actually use this to heat. It's made for taking out camping, or if you just wanted it on a cool night sitting out on the deck, it would be a good source. Now, with that one, I'm saying both those two kerosene heaters, you want to be safe. You want to make sure you're not burning all your oxygen out of the room. You want to make sure you're using it in the comfortable size room. Also, keeping fire extinguishers, and I will link and show you a picture of all the fire extinguishers I have. Keep one on each side of the room so that you have it there. Also, teach your kids that it's okay. If they saw a fire or something, grab the extinguisher and use it. Don't have your kids scared. Teach them these things, that it's okay to use that. That's what it's there for. Hopefully they never have to use that, but that's something you need to have. So these two heaters, the kerosene heaters, they work great. They have kept my family warm through a few days. Fortunately, we had gas hot water heaters, so we were able to take hot showers. We took lanterns in the bathrooms and we were able to shower and everything else that way. That was great. Now we have a gas fireplace. I know that I always have that. That's something I maintain. I keep it clean, check it every year. I also have a blower motor on that I can run off of one of my EcoFlows if I needed, or off my little portable generator. I'm just trying to show you some of the cheap ways that you could make a little heater. Back in 2009, when we had that power outage, we set a bunch of candles on the island and we had those lit. When they were burning down, we'd blow them out, we'd light another one. So today I'm going to show you the ceramic heaters and a cheap way of doing them. You can use a crock pot. What you're doing is you're putting a candle source or a heat source underneath this. For one, you got to have it on a good safe surface, whether it be a granite countertop or what. What you're doing is the heat is rising and it's staying confined. So you'll get the heat radiating off of that. Also having a little hole off the bottom of the ceramic one, I was able to put my little coffee cup on there, and I was actually not quite boiling water, but it was hot enough if I was heating up a can of soup or heating up water, wanting to make tea or coffee off of it, it would have worked. I'm going to show you how I use this. This is a pizza pan I got from Dollar Tree. I'm not going to use it. I got this on the Lazy Susan so I can show you all how I do this. I have 2 brick. I had gotten these off a job site. These are not really tea lights. These are short. These are small candles. These are a couple candles I got from the Dollar Tree. Just going to kind of link these in here. Make sure that I have my pot ready to go. Everything is underneath that. So the one thing is I probably should rotate these because I want the big ones in the back and the little ones up front because they're going to probably burn out and I may have to watch and keep an eye on that. But for this here, here's where I'm going. This is to start. I tell people apartments, you want to make sure you're doing stuff safe. So that's all it is. Okay, so now let's get into keeping an area of your house kind of getting booked into one area to where you just heating one section of your house, not the whole house. If you don't have that way of doing so, you got blankets, you can put over a couple of doorways to confine you into a living room. In our situation, we always block off our kitchen because our kitchen and great room fly together. Back in 2009, we were without power for 6 days and we stayed pretty dang warm and everything else then. The other thing too, we put a big blanket over our back door. We had towels underneath the bottom of our doors. We had closed our curtains for the windows, and that way it was keeping the heat in and not letting it out. You can also put sheets over the top or put a blanket over the top of your curtain rods and just let it dangle down. Anything to get you through that situation so that you and your family are comfortable. In my situation, I'm just trying to keep me and my dog warm. Other than that, they all serve for themselves. But anyhow, no. Joking all aside, you got to keep your family warm. The key, like we can run our gas stove. Yeah, you could heat it, but you do not want to run your stove constantly. It will burn. It'll let off CO2. That's one of the things you don't want to do. You want to make sure you could heat your oven, turn it off, open the door. It'll give you a burst of heat. That will help out for time periods. You can do that once an hour, maybe, or whatever works for you and you feel safe doing. The other thing too, I keep extra smoke detectors that I have had over the years. I keep those in there. I have a CO2 one that's smoke and carbon monoxide detector. So I have a couple of those that I have kept. Reuse those. They're not going bad. Just make sure you have a smoke detector next to any source of fire. If you're doing a kerosene heater or you're also doing one of these clay pots, there's a lot of ideas out there. One of the other things you need to do and plan for is if you have a power outage, you want to do layering, bring your clothes down. If you have to sleep in warm jammies, put socks on. Hey, if you got to sleep in a toboggan cap, sleep in a toboggan cap or wear it around during the day until you're ready to go to sleep. Keeping everybody warm. Bunch of blankets in that. For me, I have a couple of blow-up mattresses that you can use for camping, or if you have company coming in. I have used one of my EcoFlows last year when we lost power during the hot spell. We blew it up. My wife actually slept on it, and she says it's very comfortable. We also have our couch there, and I don't mind sitting in my chair sleeping like I'm taking a little nap. These are great ways to make sure that you have layers and you can stay warm. So a couple other things while we're talking about this. We've lost power. It's cold out. One of the other things you want to make sure you're doing is making sure that your water doesn't freeze in your house, because that can create another whole headache off of this. If you've lost power, you don't have heat. Number one thing is you want to keep the faucet clicked open a little bit. You want to use the faucet that's furthest away from where your inlet is coming in your basement. Determine what that is. If it's a second floor, you want to put the furthest bathroom away, put the cold water on and let it trickle through a little bit. Hey, it's going to cost you money on your water, but it's also going to keep your pipes from freezing. Open your doors underneath your cabinets. Make sure your cabinets are open so the heat flow can get in there. Make sure that you double check your stuff as you go. Hey, if you got to set yourself an alarm in the middle of the night to wake up and check on your family, check on your water situation, go run the water for a minute or something upstairs in your furthest place. These are just little things that you need to do to keep you from having a busted pipe, and it's going to cost you a ton of money at the end. You're going to use your cell phone. Kids are going to play on the cell phones, their iPads and stuff. One of the things you want to make sure you have is these battery backups for your charging your phones. That's where you're going to use your alarm, is on your phone. Like I said, if you need to go check on stuff, you're going to use it for seeing the time or whatever. We have a couple battery clocks that actually we can move around. It's one good thing to have. Again, I have the EcoFlows. I can watch my small TV, my emergency TV, and I've done videos on it. And I've also done where I have the small sources for an antenna. I also have a big antenna. I know somebody commented, it's like, hey, those little ones are okay, but they don't work. I have a big old antenna that I can run from my garage. The ceramic heater with a couple of bricks and the candles and all that, I keep that in the basement. It's in my little cabinet. I have a big old box that we have that is nothing but old candles that we've used over the years. But hey, they still have a little bit of life in them they could use in a situation to keep you warm. Different things like this are essential to making sure you have everything and a peace of mind, whether you're the mom or the dad or, you're elderly. These are things you can have. So here's some huge mistakes you can make in a situation like this. 1, never ever bring a gas grill inside of the house. It will burn the carbon monoxide out. You never want to bring a charcoal grill in. That's just too many ways of causing a fire, everything else. Gas stoves, yes, you can use it, but they are going to burn out the oxygen. You got to realize that you got to have the oxygen. If you got too much CO2 coming in the house, same thing off your gas grill, it's going to do that. It's going to burn up. These are things that you don't want to do. Generators. If you have a gas generator, don't put it in a closed garage. Make sure you have it outside. Put it under your deck. Put it underneath a piece of wood, something. Keep it outside. Run your extension cords. I have a spot where I can run my extension cords from my deck in one of my windows. I have a blanket, and I also have maybe 2 pieces of wood that are cut so that nobody could open that window up during the nighttime. It goes above, so they can't raise it. Of course, I would hear it too, and my dogs would hear it. So that's a safety tip that you could do. So you just want to make sure you're safe. You got to use common sense. Keep a fire extinguisher or 2 or 3 if you have them upstairs. I have a fire extinguisher in all the closets, in both my daughter's closets. I have one in our hallway closet. I have one in our primary bedroom on the side of my bed. Buy fire extinguishers. Lowe's had them on sale this year at Christmas time. I bought a couple to update some of the ones that I have. When you buy a fire extinguisher, take the thing out of the box. Make sure your kids know how to use that one. You want to make sure they're updated and you keep them fresh. This is my hodgepodge fire extinguishers. I got a little bit of brands from everything. Like, again, catch them on sale. Newest one, got from Lowe's this year, 2026, marked it. These ones here keep on the side of the bed in every room so you could get out. These are great. Fire blankets we have in the kitchen and the garage. This is an older one. And then these little ones that you can have, it's an 8-in-1. You can keep them in the garage, keep them in your kitchen underneath your sink. Again, if you're going to use something for your heat source in your house, a little backup battery smoke detector, carbon monoxide detector would be best. Keep these things in your house, get multiples. These are just some of the ones I pulled out that kind of shows you the different variety that you can have and use while you're trying to keep your family safe and warm. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to keep you and your family safe. Using common sense, sometimes it's not common. So you got to be careful. You have to make sure that you have everything laid out, situated, fire extinguishers. If you're going to use a kerosene heater, make sure it's at a good place, nothing's around it. If you're going to do a ceramic heater and you're going to put it on top of a countertop, make sure that it ain't going to burn down or a candle's going to burn down. Like I said, a pizza pan, anything underneath that's going to make it go out. Again, keep couple of pots of water on your stove off to the side to where if you had to grab it. The same thing with water situations. If you start losing power and everything else, fill up your bathtub so you can have a bathtub of water so that if you need to flush your toilet and everything else. And again, that's a whole nother topic going there. But the thing is you want to be safe. You want to be warm. You want to make sure your family's safe and you're being comfortable and not being stupid. You don't need expensive gear to stay warm, stay safe, and keep the family happy and warm during the wintertime. Get your stuff together, have it ready to go. Get stuff from Dollar Tree or your local hardware store. Have it ready to go. Put it in a little plastic box. Hey, be ready. I'm here to help you. It's Mr. Dale with Mr. Dale Survival. Been doing this since I was a little kid. I just love this type of stuff. We lost power for 6 days. Hey, I was in heaven cooking. I thought it was one of the greatest things. The power came back on and I was sad. But anyways, that's just me. I kept my family warm. They were safe. They were able to enjoy a couple things and everything else as we did. We played games under the lights. Hey, there's a lot of little things that you can do. Again, I appreciate you watching our videos. Thumbs up, we love, subscribe, share with a friend. We're here to help you. We really appreciate it. Again, Mr. Dale Survival, thank you so much.